According to Dan Raphael of ESPN, the official attendance for the Wilder-Ortiz fight was 14,069, which is the second largest attendance for the Barclays Center behind Keith Thurman versus Danny Garcia last year. Now, boxing in the United States is in a pretty bad place. At grassroots level, at least. When you're talking about at the pay-per-view level, there are still people like Canelo Alvarez making money. But at grassroots, boxing is in a bad place in the United States. When you consider the fact that the United States has got 300 million people, and yet for a world heavyweight championship fight, they can't even fill out the arena. Now, they came close with this particular fight, 14,000 people. And I guess it sold more than Eddie Hearn was hoping it would sell, because Eddie Hearn's been constantly deriding Deontay Wilder ticket sales and kind of teasing Lou DiBella about how poor a job he's doing promotionally for Deontay Wilder and what have you. So he was probably a little surprised that he even got 14,000, maybe a little disappointed. He was hoping he would get probably 2,000 people to attend. But no, 14,000 is what it got. And as I say, grassroots boxing in America is in a bad place. People don't tend to support their local fighters the way they do in the United Kingdom, where, you know, you could get sellout crowds for domestic title fights, not even world title fights. But having said all that, I think they are building something in New York right now. I think boxing is coming back to New York, and New York fans are a bit more passionate than maybe the kind of fans you would get in Las Vegas, where it's a bunch of high rollers in there and nobody's trying to jump up and crease their suit to cheer for a particular fighter winning the fight. Whereas in New York, it's a bit more raucous. It's a bit more visceral when you're watching it on television and you're seeing the reaction of the fans and whatever. So they're building something in New York at the Barclays Center. And I hope they continue to build on this. I hope Jarrell Miller continues to be a part of it. And Jarrell Miller is going to be taking on Johan Duopa in a few weeks' time with Danny Jacobs, a co-feature on that particular card. So yeah, New York right now may be the saving grace for boxing in the United States when it comes to grassroots support, because that's what Eddie Hearn is helping to do with his fighter Danny Jacobs, and a guy he works with in Jarrell Miller, is build that grassroots support for boxing again. Now, it's not Eddie Hearn that's created this resurgence in boxing in New York, but he's certainly helping it, you know, by promoting two New York, Brooklyn fighters in officially in Danny Jacobs and unofficially in Jarrell Miller, because Jarrell Miller's not signed with Eddie Hearn. He's just featuring on a couple of his cards. So yeah, hopefully they continue to go from strength to strength, and New York can bring boxing back for the United States. Even the heavyweight champions from Alabama, look where he just had his biggest fight in New York. So yeah, let me know what you think about the attendance here. Can they build on this? Was it a bigger attendance than you thought? Was it still disappointing in your view? This should go some way, as I said, post-fight, to building Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder, a unification. And there's been a lot of criticism of Joshua and his team for talking about, you know, even by Wilder, for talking about taking on Jarrell Miller before they take on Wilder. But I think it's a perfectly logical plan. Because, again, New York seems like a place which could save boxing in America right now. They've got kind of a buzz going on for boxing in New York. We've just seen Deontay Wilder in a good fight taking out Luis Ortiz. To then have Joshua fighting Miller, who's a very vocal, trash-talking character. He's Brooklyn to the core. To have Joshua fight him in Brooklyn, imagine how much bigger the Deontay Wilder fight would be after that if Joshua comes through against Jarrell Miller. From a business point of view, it makes perfect sense. Then they could actually have Joshua versus Wilder as pay-per-view in the United States. Right now, it's not a pay-per-view fight, or certainly before the Ortiz fight, Joshua Wilder's not pay-per-view in the United States. But if Joshua goes to New York to the Barclays in Brooklyn and beats the hometown undefeated trash-talking Jarrell Miller, if he manages to do that, the Wilder fight just becomes so much bigger in the United States and they can really capitalize on the pay-per-view. So I understand that plan, and to me that plan seems like a sensible plan and a plan that makes sense, you know, from a business perspective. So I don't hate that plan. Even though Wilder's trying to pour scorn on it and whatever, I personally don't hate it. It all depends on where they're going to have the fight. If they want to have Joshua versus Wilder in the UK, then you don't really need to build Joshua in the United States right now. But if they're looking to have a 2-fight deal and maybe have the first fight in the United States, then you're going to need to build. And you're going to need to have Joshua take on somebody like a Miller first. Or it would certainly help anyway. So, yeah. Let me know what you think about all the points I've raised here. All right? I'm out.